is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, closet swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. We made it. We made it to the first month, the first day, the first month. What am I talking about? The first day of February. Hope you guys are doing well. I saw a lot of good earnings come in. Not a lot of good earnings, a lot of good results into the Slack yesterday. So it sounds like overall pretty decent month for most people. But I know when somebody has a good month, that's when you typically want to post results. And then if it was like a shaky month or not as good as expected, you tend not to. So if you're one of those people, it's okay. It's the first, we just finished the first month of the year. We got 11 lined up. And use that time to review the trades that you took. Did you trade too much? Did you trade too little? Were you scared a little bit of trading? What was some of the setups that you took that might not have worked? Take a look at all that, and don't be afraid to reach out to myself, to Johnny Maloney, Tony, Jeremy, who a fellow trader in Slack. See what they're doing. See how you could work. I do have some seats left in the options course that I'm doing on Tuesday. With Tuesdays and Thursdays for the entire month of February. So I think I got two more seats. If anybody does want to do that, that's to use options in a way to make consistent revenue, get the paycheck from the stock market with a couple different strategies. So that is still available. Reach out to me for that, and I'll send you over the link if you have not done so already. But make sure you guys reach out for that. Make sure you guys reach out for any help if you need it. Or just want to even if you had a good month, want to improve, just make sure you guys, that's why RLT exists in the first place. So make sure you guys take advantage of that. But we got Alan House, good morning. We got Albert Bell, Bill, we got Brian, Cindy, Corey, David D, Fabrice, good morning. We got Frank, George is in the house, Julie, Greg K, Jacob J. Ooh, the list keeps going. We got Joe, Lord, Martina, Micus, we got Randy, good morning. We got Rock in the house. All my peeps out of YouTube land, good morning. Happy February to you guys. We got Anthony, Ivo, Richard, Jet in the house. We got Gibby's in the house. Gibby's on the go. Can't slow down, Gibby. Cannot do it. We got all my lurkers in the background. Make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell for any cool updates that RLT puts out. All right, we got to I think we have to digest what the Fed did yesterday. I think the rest of the market has to digest what the Fed did yesterday, which is really nothing. They didn't really do much. Realistically speaking, we were not expecting any rate hikes. We were not expecting any rate cuts. So that was good. He started off with some bangers. He came out with some classic hits. He actually was, I think he was asked, like, how come you don't have confidence in the economy and the recovery and the soft landing? And he actually point blank said, no, we have confidence. We're very confident. Market loved it. We started to rally a little bit. Then he got asked a little bit later on during that conference call. He got asked a little bit later on about the March rate cuts. He was asked previously, did a good job just kind of sidestepping, but he just could not resist on that next one. So the markets were pricing in that we get some rate cuts in March. I think probably a 0.25. He point blank said, I'm not doing it. It wasn't even discussed. The Fed has not even discussed that as a possibility. So while nothing really changed, and even if we got a rate cut, like I said, it was going to be most likely a 0.25, but this market is wildly bullish. So there's a few things that can change it. And that's why I'm saying today is a digestion day for the market, because now we got to reprice out the market a little bit for, okay, we got another month, we got another 2 months really from March. So we're looking for maybe May cuts at this point. We'll see, but we now have to reprice into what that actually means, the longer term, where we just kind of go flat. And we've been saying this, I don't think this should be a surprise, but this market is so bullish that everything is buy, everything's a buy signal and everyone wants to get going. That's why I say tomorrow's going to now be an interesting day, because he did kick the can down the road. Obviously it comes back to, all right, well, how's the number shaping up? Is there a time where we can do it in March? Like, even though he point blank said we're not even really focused in it. And that tomorrow we start off with the non-farm payrolls. I think that's going to be an important one to start watching, because any sign of, like, if that comes in pretty decent, the bulls in this market go, okay, yeah, I know what he said, but we don't believe him, and we might start looking for that rate cut again in March. But right now, the odds of rate cut dropped drastically. And then even I saw that in June, I believe, they're looking for like a half a point price cut. So or rate cut. They're looking to really get aggressive with the Fed, and the Fed so far has been just sticking to the docket and just saying it is what it is. So we'll see. We'll see what happens on that. The other news that we had early morning yesterday was the NYCB having some struggles. I think they had a pretty bad loan on the books that is still struggling with some of the same stuff that SLB did, but we'll see how the regionals were getting clapped off that. And surprisingly enough, in his statement, the one thing he did not change from he's been saying it consistently. He did not say it yesterday, was that banks are sound and secure. He just avoided that sentence altogether. That's again, when you're listening to the Fed, it's little clues, little things that they say, that they don't come out and say things point blank. So that could be an issue. But again, we'll see if it's contained, if it's just that one regional bank that had some issues, or if there's actually still some more issues out there. But he didn't say it, and I don't understand how a headline like that comes out. All the reporters are sitting right there looking at Jerome Powell, and that question does not get asked about that bank, or if there's any concern or worry about some further. So that was a little suspicious. I don't know what the deal was with that, but that was my big takeaways from that meeting yesterday. So we'll see. SPY, very blood red day after. I mean, we were saying he was so confident. They were confident, and then they stepped on their own feet. But so we lost a lot. Very, very big close yesterday. Or bad close yesterday. No wicks, no nothing. All pressure to the downside. I wasn't even liking where this thing was kind of coming down to. But again, what fundamentally changed? Nothing except expectations. They're all, it's just like, okay, we're probably going to get a cut. When do we get the cut? Right. And the market kind of got thrown off a little bit because everyone was just like, yeah, it's March, definitely March. So we'll see. But we do have a little bit of a gap up today. These are from this day. This first line was the 50% retracement. We don't need that anymore. And we got the 618, which we essentially had a good bounce into. And we rejected that off the highs yesterday, and that's kind of the resistance that we put in. So we'll see how this one wants to play out. Otherwise, the VPOC still stayed okay. We lost a little bit. We closed VPOC right into some kind of I guess support right here around 487.27. I think we got a little lower than that, a tad, but it still stayed up there. So on a move back higher, I'm looking at support now. If we come down, I'm looking for the first support somewhere around 483.94. And then we got probably looking for that first resistance at least at 486.85. Maybe we get back to like this 487. But again, tomorrow's numbers are now going to be a little bit more important. We also have Apple after the bell reporting today too. So again, I don't think it's too much of what the numbers are, but how they kind of forecast the next quarter and see if they're kind of on pace for their annual guidance. And I think looking at some of the virtual headsets, also seeing if the iPhone sales are decent, how MacBook Pros are selling, that tells us a little bit about kind of the overall consumer sentiment, really, besides the archaic Fed way to do it. But we'll see. But we got a little bit of a gap up today, so we'll see. Probably a little dramatic, a little oversold yesterday, and I think most likely we stay inside day, and then tomorrow will give us a better opportunity to know kind of how the rest of the market's thinking after the non-farm payrolls come out. But right now, at least we do have. I'd want a little bit of, I don't know, panic selling, but a little bit of like somebody got some calls at the very end of the day just in case. Somebody bought something at the end of the day just in case they get this little gap up. And see if we pull down a little bit. We're looking for like this, we'll just call it 484, but somewhere in that zone, for some kind of support. That at least gives us better risk to reward to the upside. Obviously, we start breaking the lows of yesterday. I do have one more support. That's going to be 482.13, and then things get a little bit scary beside a couple of moving averages, which psychologically could keep us up there. But otherwise, the next spot for me would be like 477, and markets will will be freaking out a little bit more, and maybe that starts the slight little downtrend. We'll see. Qs, we got a same thing, little gap up, pretty horrific bearish close yesterday. I don't think we really hit any moving averages on this one. We're gapping up into that resistance zone, so we'll see here. I've got the first resistance right around here, slightly higher, 419.43, so a few pennies higher. I'd want to see if that's going to be able to break this in the next 28 minutes, whatever it is, 18 minutes. See if we could get above there. Then my next target would get us up to probably about 421. Otherwise, if this does open as resistance, I don't have anything really supporting us. I have one little moving average, which again, that's all based off moving averages based off of what the market has already done. So psychologically, some people might look for a tiny bounce there. Otherwise, I don't have another spot until 412 on the Qs. So we could get a little bit more, and I don't know if we get 412 today. We could use maybe the opening of the candle from the 19th as a little potential support. Somebody's going to be looking to go long there, but otherwise I have like back to 412. So we'll see. We'll see how this market wants to play out. We are opening, even though this is a gap and go, still inside day candle, and we're opening at resistance as well. TLT probably going bullish. Yep. I imagine after the okay, we're kicking the can down the road in terms of rate cuts, you will see a little bit more bullishness in TLT. This is going to be a retest gap, though. Pretty sweet gap. Next target is 98.26. I think that might be a target for today. I would like to see a little bit of a pullback because it is a retest gap, maybe into like this 97.10. So not much of a pullback here, but would like to see that hold. And then again, we do have a decent amount of room on TLT for today. And I think bonds are a good play against. I think people are going to start pushing into bonds, especially if the market doesn't want to continue to rally. But again, today's digestion day. We got BABA on the list. Let me get to some of your tickers. Just still in this chop zone. Yep. Nothing too crazy. We are opening at one resistance, 73.22. This is also a retest gap. Interesting enough about it is we are getting, like, there was obviously some selling pressure from this wick here. A little selling pressure from yesterday's wick. We are gapping above that. So I would say a little bit more bullish than bearish. But we got to watch that resistance. I'd see if we can get a little pullback first on this one. And then we got to break 73.22. The next stop on this one would be 73.98. Support, it's probably tight range at open. So 72.97 is my first support. Let's see if we get a little bounce off that 72.97. That would look interesting, but otherwise kind of consolidated. Let's see, J wants CTVA, and then let's see some from Lauren as well. CTVA. Corteva. Gap up on earnings. Surprise beat to the upside by 9 cents. It's 155% surprise upside. We got surprise revenue, extra 104 million. See if there's any crazy volume candles. Maybe we get a little resistance here. I don't see any reason why we should, but 49.68. There's been a lot of short selling in this thing. I kind of like this one. Targets, though, for me. So we do have a little bit of resistance, right? We're opening 49.50. If we could break through that, the next stop up, I think, will take us to $50.35. Let me just add this to the list real quick. Otherwise, good double bottom, held support like a champion. We got a good bullish engulfing candle. So some bulls were interested down here. Played it flat for a little bit. Really good gap up. How far this thing moves, I haven't day traded, so I don't know in terms of that goes, but that was a good support. We kind of stalled that out, so that looks good. Longer term, 57.11 would be a good target. Otherwise, 51.29 would be a decent target where we probably stall out today if we could get there. But that would be, I don't based on the price action, I think that would be a massive move. So yeah, I'd be worried about the target. That's a really good gap though, and probably one for a swing. I don't know if I would day trade it personally, just because I haven't before. Etsy, ETSY. And I think I got a squeeze of the day too. Squeeze of the day. I'll get to that one soon. Uh, I kind of like Etsy above the other one. Really strong selling, held a good support. That is a gap and go. I'm not sure where targets go on this one. I don't know the squeeze on this one either. Finviz. I don't think they have a huge short float. Let's see. They have a 12% short float. All right, we got another squeeze potential on the table. Immediate target about 75, 79. Yep, I'm gonna move Etsy up. It's a good gap. Good gap. Definitely trapping some people. Nice short float. Again, first target probably about 75, 67. Next one 77.09. Would love to see some kind of high wave indecision come in, which we might because we are kind of tied up, tangled in between some of those moving averages, but that looks good. RCL reported earnings. That's where Carnival Cruise was moving to. Surprise earnings per share up 10 cents. And then they did lose 26 million, but market don't care. Not into all-time highs. We are going to hit some resistance over here somewhere. I don't really have that much resistance up there though. So probably looking for like the last breath of the bears is 135.09. But we do have a little bit of longer term resistance. Every time we've gotten to the zone, we sold. So I would be a little concerned with that one. And then I believe even with the selling yesterday, we have a green week still. So let's see. The daily yesterday was also green. So a little bit of a retest gap. Otherwise, I'm not looking for I really don't want this one to pull back and start retesting this 127.90. I would be looking for more like a 130.32 pullback on RLC. And then if we could break those longer term support, I mean, there's nothing up above us, so that looks good too. Goose. Canadian Goose. Is it the they make the jackets? Is that them? Or they actually make the Canadian geese? That'd be crazy. Good gap and go. I've got one little resistance right here, so we're opening at it. See if this one wants to actually fade back a little bit before buying, I think. Or in the next 10 minutes, if we get a gap anywhere, I'd say above. So like if we could get to like 1275 or higher, I think that'd be decent. Geese are the geese are custom made from the deepest pits of hell. I know that would be the most pointless company, I think. The geese, they do their own thing. They walk in the middle of traffic. They don't care. They bring the whole family with them. It's nuts. There's nothing really here. So, in terms of volume to hold us down, I got nothing. The only thing I got that's really holding us back is that one little spot. I got to go higher on. I got to get some Canadian geese. I think that looks interesting. Let's see how fast TradingView wants to go today. To the top of the lists. And we got it up there. Netflix. Santilla says, which is the best time frame to do a day trade plus entries? I don't know exactly know what that question means, but every day trade has to have an entry. I'll go with that. Otherwise, it depends on your plan too. So depends on your setups that you look for. There's traders that will trade kind of like the lunchtime, afternoon because it goes slower for them. That's fine. I do like the mornings a little bit better because you get higher volatility. And for day trading, you really want to see volatility in a stock. That's why, for me, I don't day trade anything under $5, and I don't trade anything with kind of low volume on it. So I need at least 2 million shares on average traded. Um, and then out of the morning, you're just increasingly getting that morning volatility. So I like the morning the best. I hopefully answered the question. I'm hoping. Netflix is a little bit chop here. Nothing too crazy. See if this one, we're still inside day from yesterday. And we've obviously got rejected here twice. We did already come in and retest those little resistance zones. I'm looking for support, maybe about 566. If you go long on this thing, I'd wait for a pullback. Otherwise, just miss the upside. I wouldn't want to jump into it. Knowing that there's resistance at 570, 73, look for that as maybe your first spot to kind of go short. Otherwise, you're just chopping in the middle. 2 days, just all inside day, so nothing too crazy. Technically, we're probably still playing off this little gap and go to the downside, but this could easily just chop here for a long time, let some of those moving averages catch up, and then we make it the next move. So nothing too crazy on that one. Rock says HON gapping down. I got 7 minutes, so we'll see if we get to as many as we can. Was this an earnings beat? So they lost 255 million, but they did beat on earnings per share. Big retest gap from yesterday. Am I holding any type of supports? Not really. See if this one gets bought up. So if you want to go short on this one and continue that trend down, at least wait a little bit for it to get some kind of a bounce from yesterday's kind of deep sell candle. But you're looking at 197.54, breaking a pretty good pivot at least. But see if you could just short this thing higher if you want to come in. You're still going to have the 200 right here. Somewhere sitting around 195.82. So we'll see. And then you are kind of opening at a little bit of support zone too. So, but it is doing something at least immediately different than the market. Too much of a spread. You'll pass. Yep. Yeah, watch that one. Most likely Honeywell is it's not a highly tradable one. DKNG. DraftKings. So again, a little bit of it is a gap and go. It's just inside day. We're about a 50% retracement from yesterday's candle. And I am looking at this little resistance up here, 39.72. So if it gives you like some kind of double bottom, double top, the patterns are there and you could play it, great. Really support doesn't come in until at this point 38.63 and then resistance 39.74. So those are the two zones I would look if you get some kind of good reversal candles, anything like that. Let me go to the short float play of the day. It's not that one. It's plug power. So retest gap important. What did I just say? I didn't make up the rule. Most traders pretty much have that same rule. I would think, but any stock that is above $5 becomes tradable. Obviously, this one had a good catalyst yesterday where they got an upgrade from $4.50 to $5. They do have a massive short float on the table. PLUG. 29% short float. So massive. You got a catalyst out there saying $9. You got a really good gap, and you just made it above $5. We got 5 more minutes left. But if this one starts to open above 5, I do own not own it, but I'm in a trade on this thing already. My target is $5.20. So as soon as we hit that, I'll be out. But I wouldn't mind. I don't know about day trade wise. I think you can make a decent amount on a day trade if you get that short squeeze on this thing. So just I would say you got a good gap up to $5.68 on a $5 stock. That's a good return. So I'd be watching this one pretty closely today too for that short squeeze. NXT next tracker. I don't even know what this is. They're printing some cash, gapping up to all-time highs. Yeah, I mean, this one I have no idea what this does. Sounds like a spy company, if I had to guess. Really good gap. Every single person that has ever owned this stock is profitable. I probably wouldn't want to be the first one to buy it, but yeah, I would say long is probably the direction on it. I would have to wait for some kind of a pullback, double bottom, even a. I don't even know if I want to do a high wave on this one. Also, I'm not sure of the spread, but that's a really good gap though. NXT. All right. AMD in the chat pane. AMD. I got 2 minutes and 20 seconds. Still inside day, and we do have resistance all above us now. So we got 172.05. We've got 176.03. It's not going to be a direct sympathy of Apple, but in some way, if Apple gets crushed today, I think AMD, I also think NVIDIA starts to roll down too a little bit. If Apple survives, obviously more of a sympathy to this would be the NVIDIA earnings, and we still got a few weeks until NVIDIA comes out. But day trade wise, we're not really trapping anybody, at least from the gate. Look for resistance somewhere around 172.05. Look for today's support around 167.94. So those would be the two levels I'd be interested in playing. IWM was interesting yesterday as well. I mean, pretty big sell-off. All reaction from Jerome Powell, but 198.92 was the high. And then within the matter of an hour or so, we dropped all the way to 192.80. Again, pretty good volume. We're gonna have a lot of different resistance above us. The next one, I'm really looking for. Maybe this thing can make it back. It's also about 50% retracement, but 195.09. See how this one wants to hold out. I'm sure that in this in IWM, there's probably some regional banks as well. So you're gonna get the double hand hit on this one. If we get any more news about regionals. Let's see which other ones I'm looking. Puts on Apple. Yeah, let's take a look real quick at Apple since they are reporting. Massive gap down on, is that Aflac? AFL? Aflac. Oh, it's gonna be. This is gonna be. I don't know. I don't know. We have a little bit of support. Lots of selling in a row. Probably a decent move to sell. I see. Yeah, sell some puts on Apple. I get it. It depends on the forecast. We do have the earnings today, but yeah, maybe if this thing comes down to like 182.15 today, you could probably, there's definitely going to be some good premium on those puts. If you don't mind owning Apple, not a bad. They've been underperforming this year, but we'll see what happens on the earnings. Otherwise, you will get some good premium on that. Massive gap down on Aflac. I haven't seen that commercial in a while, but that's the bell. That is the morning bell. That's crazy. Good gap, retest gap. Look for targets probably into this $80.74. Probably want to lean more bullish than bearish on this one, as it is opening at a decent support. Everybody out there on YouTube, you guys have been absolutely incredible. Tomorrow, big numbers, non-farm payrolls. That's going to help set the narrative, I think, after Powell just kind of threw out some love on that. But